What's going on, folks, and welcome back today for another review. I'm excited because I'm excited to talk about the film, but I'm also excited to have my buddy back, Zero Gravity. And you know she's here. You already know what time it is. Today, folks, we're reviewing the long-awaited film, Texas Chain Saw Massacre, coming to Netflix February 18th. This is brought to you by the director David Blue Garcia, who I'm not familiar with. I think he's fairly new in directing. I'm definitely just going to tip my hat to him already because, this is the 9th installment within the franchise, which is, but this is the sequel to the original film, which came out about 50 years ago. So this is actually taking place 50 years after that. So that was 1974, if you can't do the math. And they're calling this the spiritual sequel, which I guess for better words, a safe way of saying like, yeah, it is, but maybe it's not. But, and as I was joking with Zero before we got started, can't make everybody happy. So I think they tiptoed on what they actually called a sequel. But in fact, I can confirm that this is the sequel to the 1974 version of Texas two-word Chainsaw Massacre. So you know exactly which one it is. So, but what is this one about?
All right, so set the scene. 50 years later, after the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre had occurred, we have a group of very stereotypical millennial, what do they call them? Gentrifuckers are coming into to this town looking to basically gentrify to give new life to this dusty old town. But boy, I do not think that was the right decision.
And you are right. Now, I do gotta admit, folks, when I did hear that this was, that this title was being brought to Netflix, I had a couple of thoughts. The first thought I had was like, wait, whatever happened to Lionsgate when they had the rights to it? And then I did some research. They were supposed to have released 5 films within this franchise. They lost the rights because of the timing of the distribution, which, if you don't know what I mean by that, it's sort of the same thing with Netflix and Marvel, where it's like you can own a property, and Sony as well too. You can own a property, but you are contractually obligated to release these things within a certain time period span, or you have to return it. Thus, here's why Netflix had it. And I thought maybe this will be a series. And I gotta say 2 things. If you're not going to do a series, because that's just my own personal fan, dream here. If this, and it is a movie, then we want more, and I already want more. And I'm just gonna tell you that I hope there's more. There's a good indication that there may be more, but as of right now, it's in good hands, I feel, because I enjoyed this one a lot. I really did. It's about a runtime about an hour and a half, so it's very easy to digest, and it is straight to the point.
Yeah, you can say that again. I don't think they wasted any time here. And like I said, Najee, this is a quick one, hour and a half, but it's chock full. It is chock full. They did not waste a second on any of that gory, bloody goodness that we love and that we expect from this franchise. I thought it was great. Yeah. Honestly, I think that, Najee, your viewers know me well enough by now. I'm the kind of fan that's just happy for whatever the hell I can get. I will watch it. I'm not the one to hold grudges. I'll watch it and pick it apart later. I'm just happy to get something.
Yeah.
This one hit all the spots for me. It really kind of read like a video game movie, which is interesting because we are getting the Texas Chainsaw Massacre game. We don't have a release date yet, but it's coming. We got these 2 trailers around the same time, so the fans we're sweating right now. We really are sweating. But great stuff.
Yeah.
Not a perfect film, but great stuff. I'm happy.
Yeah, absolutely. As a big Dead by Daylight fan, who I personally hate Bubba on the game, I was very excited for this. Again, the anticipation of this release, whether I thought it was going to be a series, but it being a film, either way, I was happy to see this franchise be brought back to life. And I didn't even teeter with the idea if it was going to be done with justice. I was just happy, much like you. I was just happy that it was coming. More content from these very popular franchises is always a good thing to me. And I would never be one to say like, oh, I don't want no more. Like, hell, I will take 15 more Fast and Furious. That's just where I'm at with things. Like, if I like it, I like it. Just go crazy with it, But I do want to say, I'm gonna talk a little bit about the critic hat stuff here, and then we're gonna get into spoilers. And obviously, folks, the film is available now for you to check out. We did get a chance to check this out early. Thus why we're recording a little bit early, but by now this is released. That means you have a chance to watch it. So we are going to talk spoilers with it. I'm going to just talk a little bit, like I said, with the critic stuff. I thought the cinematography was fantastic, and I will be virtually honest that I was a little worried with it, but the film progressively got better, and it felt like an old school build horror film where things escalated, and like, because you know Leatherface is such a popular slasher film, it didn't need the slow build in terms of how brutal he was. Right. It was a slow build in the plot, but when he's in it, it's brutal. So which the pacing is fantastic. How it was shot was fantastic. I thought the score was good. Just going really quickly back to the cinematography, there's some of these and as you expect, low light shots with him, and sort of some of these camera angles that they're playing with him. They really cashed in terms of the cinematography. And then, you know, the biggest thing we need to talk about here is the special effects work here. Oh, they got their money's worth. They got their money's worth.
Didn't they? Going back to cinematography real quick, a blend of the two. They really were working with the silhouettes here. I know everyone knows how powerful of a character Leatherface is. You can have never seen a Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie, and you see the dude with the mask face. I want to say 7 times out of 10, you're going to understand that that's Leatherface. Now, the way that the cinematography revolves around that, with the silhouettes just barely lighting him from the back, even the kill shots, even you know, things that weren't so blatantly highlighted. We didn't get a like crazy amount of lighting, but just silhouetted enough that you can see the gore and see this giant entity of a man was beautiful. I think figuring around that was exactly what the fans wanted. It was like hella fan service to me. As a fan, I'm sitting here on the couch like giving applause, like, yes, that's exactly what I wanted to see without giving up too much. It was just enough. That was it for me.
Very, very true. And I think the other thing is, you know, we kind of danced around this one in regards to the integrity of the franchise. This absolutely does its justice to the point, and this is always a good sign for me, that not only do I want to watch this again, I absolutely want to go back and watch the 1974 version. And really see the essence and the continuity between the two, because this one felt really good, and I'm willing to bet that it's also going to make me appreciate the original even more going back and watching it for all it did, for what got us to now, the 9th installment. So you know, this was definitely not only fan service, but I think it was a love letter to the original as well too.
Right. I don't know if this is a controversial take or not, but I am also a big fan of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I'm not sure if it was 2003 or 2006, sometime within that time frame. It was a remake of the original film.
2003. Yeah,
2003, and I love that one. You know, it's not a perfect film, but it gave me what I wanted. It breathed fresh life into the movie. But I think that this installment did a better job than 2003. It felt like a more replicated sequel and a replicated idea of what Leatherface is, specifically with that kind of like goofy nature. Like Leatherface, he's a goofy dude. Like he's, I don't know, he's probably like what, 250 pounds, 6 foot, whatever. Like, you know, he's clunky, and you know, sometimes his movements look really weird, but that's just because he's this kind of baby in a huge body. And I really got that with this installment, not so much in the 2003, but I was very pleased there.
Because the 3D version is the one no one wants to talk about. That didn't happen. Anyway, let's get into spoilers now. So we're going to definitely talk about some specifics within the plot, things we liked, things that were very memorable and stood out to us, and so on. So let's just start from the top of the film a little bit, and then we'll brush through it. So, you know, the biggest thing for me, and much like we already mirrored and said, and I'm just, you know, looking at my notes in this one, is like, what a time to be alive, man. We got a new Texas Chainsaw Massacre film, and it's fantastic. We're back in Texas, and this time we're in Harlow. Obviously, the original one took place in Newt, which is, I'm not even sure if that's even a real town in Texas. Also, I'm not one to even be traveling in Texas myself for leisure, But I will say, for the amount of murder mystery and unsolved murder stuff that I intake daily, I see how some people could just mysteriously say, yeah, I wonder if that place is down in Texas. Let's just go check it out.
You could fool me. You could fool me.
But like Zero said, you know, now we got these group of millennials where they're coming in to shake Texas up. But boy, where have they been the last like forever of their life? You're not going into Texas and trying to change the culture. They go down there and they start shaking the trees. They like, oh, we're going to do this whole new little setup. We're going to bring some investors in. We're going to urbanize this place. All these other things. I mean, there was enough warning without warning. I mean, they got mildly approached by the cops, and like while that was like where we thought it was going to be kind of stereotypical, like, oh, we know what's happening here, that should have been like the first warning of like, and then the gas station interactions, like, and then the folks, I think they call it like the ones with the trucks and they're blowing the exhaust out. I think they call it like rolling coal or whatever it is. I don't know. Yeah, so you got that. You know, you got all these little things, and you're just like, oh, we're just gonna go down here and dump some money into this town, and we're gonna move everybody from Austin and into here, and we're gonna just change the culture here, and
while completely ignoring all of the red flags we are facing.
And then to make matters worse here, so they go down there and they got the deeds to a lot of the properties, and at least they thought they had to all except for this one house, the major house, the main house, where I guess they were going to set up their shop in, and they didn't. Or did they? Or they didn't? Did they? Or did they didn't? They didn't know at the time. But nonetheless, they ended up kicking this old lady. And I mean, it wasn't even nice. This was just fucked up. I can't even lie. I know she had a Confederate flag on her, and I'm not ever going to condone that. But they kicked this poor old lady out of her house, and they weren't nice about it. I mean, they got her the boot instantly. I mean, let's think about this, folks. Anybody that comes into your house and tell you to get out, you're not going to be happy. And the poor lady went, and well, as I said, these young millennials that went shaking some trees, and they shook up the wrong one, and a big leaf. You know?
Was it a leaf, or was it like a, I don't know, what's something vicious that lives in a tree? A cougar came out?
Yeah. So that then sets the table for things to happen here, because as this lady, this old poor lady, I do sympathize with her because she died because it was just a lot going on for her, and she already had some medical issues, and they evict her, but she was taking care of her only boy left. She ran an orphanage. I mean, at this point now, if you didn't know about it, if I told you, hey, there was this old lady running an orphanage and she had one more kid left, and she was kicked out because these young millennials said, hey, we're building here and you get out, you're gonna say, all right, wait a minute, who's the bad guy in this? I am here to make the hot take of the day. Leatherface was out here fighting the good battle. My man was fighting gentrification. He was fighting social media influencers. I mean, just think about this now. I mean, and all of this because he didn't want to get kicked out of his house. Like literally. I mean, and not to mention, like he's living in Texas, so he's got to be a full-blown conservative. So like, you come down there, and you got these young millennials gentrifying your town and kicking your mama out. I mean, bro, and I don't know everything, but if I remember correctly, I believe the state of Texas, you do have the right to defend your land and tangible property with deadly force in certain solutions. I'm sorry.
This is definitely not what they mean by that, though.
Is he acting in justice?
In theory, he's good. In theory. All right. When you look at all the PC and take a step back, he did slaughter, I don't know how many people.
I mean, he would overkill, oh, for sure.
50? I mean, I know you got kicked out your house and everything, but it's a little overkill. But not minimizing, Leatherface was here to combat gentrification. That is the theme of this film. Yeah.
I'm telling you, man, more towns may need some Leatherfaces here.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know, this is what really starts the onslaught. You know, going into this, speaking about one of the millennials, Jacob Lattimore, who who plays Dante in this, who also plays Emmett from The Chi. He's one of the kids. Again, as I said, they come to this town wanting to do his own thing. I thought it was so funny that as soon as he gets out of their car, he's like, oh, we're going to do this and this. The first thing he says is, yeah, and I could open up my restaurant here and I could be cooking. I was like, look at Emmett, always talking about cooking from Chicago down to Texas. This same old, no matter where he's at. But I have mixed feelings about this casting. One, I absolutely love Jacob, but I always prefer films where it's just more of folks that you do not recognize. That also makes you kind of like, I guess it makes the events of things feel more real. I mean, for found footage, it's the only way you do it. But I guess I'm just always more keen to like when there's like less known names or people who has done, you know, a less body of work that I feel like in terms of casting, it just works better for me. Nothing against his performance at all, but like seeing him, I was like, oh, that's a really notable name. But I do like the justice in terms of how his story arc kind of worked, because like, you know, more or less when you do see bigger names, you're like, oh, they're untouchable. They're not going to do anything to him. But he got served. And
this was a very typical classic Scream. Oh, I love Drew Barrymore. 5 minutes later, you know?
Yes, perfectly said. But as we said, and I'll throw it to you on this one, you know, business picked up really quick. So when we had Bubba's first first tally on the board, what did you think about that? What did you think about the reveal and all of that, the events of how it just all came about? And I mean, we were only like 15-20 minutes in. Hell
yeah. Like we said, straight to the point. We're wasting no time. The reveal I thought it was awesome. I really did. I will say the fiance, the blonde girl in the front of the truck, I wanted her to last a little bit longer.
Oh yeah,
I really did. But you know, in the back of my head, I'm like, I know this franchise. But the what do you call that, rear view mirror shot when old girl is in the front seat and she looks into the rear view mirror and sees our boy getting his brand new mask, which looks great, by the way. I really do like the new face, and just that paired with her voice over the radio, he's wearing her face, was just like, oh, it's time, it's happening again. It was almost like a little celebration. It was just like all the pieces formed together, and now the movie begins. Now the face can finally begin. All the pieces are there. He's in the back ripping off her face. She is speaking it into existence. He's wearing her face. The people are the man in the gas station who was listening on the other side, he knows exactly what that means, which tells the audience now it is go time. It is go time, my boy.
Yeah. Loved it. You bring up something really quick that I should have mentioned earlier. This is a good standalone because much like you said, when it is go time and the movie goes forward, it doesn't feel like you lack of any prior knowledge before then. I feel like the movie at that point is completely a self-standing standalone film that just works. Again, I think you, and much like myself, I do want to check out the original again. But at that point, 15 minutes in, if you had any bit of curiosity as to, oh wait, should I watch the previous to kind of understand what's happening here? No. This is it. It all comes together in 2 minutes. It's just like, this is who he is, who he identifies as, and his characteristics, his power, his ability, his malice, all of it's just displayed instantly. So
and even when Sally comes back and makes her return, you don't need any other background context. You can just tell that she's looking for revenge. She's hurt. She's been waiting for this moment for a long time. And based off of his brute strength and the like 3 kills that we've had before that moment, when he finally, you know, reemerges, you know exactly what we're dealing with. You know exactly what she's dealing with and everyone else in this situation. So it works great as a standalone film. Definitely not necessary to watch, but of course, with the emergence of Sally coming back, it's there goes that fan service again. And I just want to say, I am so here for this new wave of old people kicking ass. I I do understand that a lot of fans had some gripes when this trailer dropped and we found out that Sally was going to be making a comeback, especially because now we have the new Halloween trilogy where Laurie Strode is essentially doing the same thing. But hey, why can't there be room for two?
Absolutely.
I think that, you know, any type of marginalized person deserves to have their moment in the spotlight, especially in horror, with Halloween Kills, now Texas Chainsaw Massacre. There was that other one on Shudder, VFW, that I really, old people kicking ass, don't sleep on it, man.
Yeah.
Don't sleep on it.
I am willing to bet my top dollar that Jamie Lee Curtis is, and I do know for a fact, especially at Comic-Con, she always does this very woman empowering panel and talks about stuff like this. I am fully confident that she was one of the main voices saying, no, absolutely, we need more of this. Like, we're still here. You know what I mean? And, you know, rest in peace to original Sally, Marilyn Burns, who I think passed around 2014, I believe. Which we do get, you know, the still image photos from the original film of her, and I think her legacy is very much still intact. I mean, she was in plenty other Texas Chainsaw Massacres, but you know, you had to do justice by having her in this to an extent. And then the recast, I can't think of her name, I thought was really well. But I do like you said, I'm for it, and I you know, I'm glad you brought up the comparison, because I was going to say essentially you can look at Sally and say, oh, there's Laurie. And they're both out for revenge, and it follows the same duality here, but they're different because also Michael Myers and Leatherface are different too. And I just want to put just a little bit of respect to my man Bubba. While he may be unorthodox and he may be bigger, he is super agile. He throws his chainsaw like it's axe throwing. He is crafty. I mean, if there was an Olympics for slashers, I mean, I hope he's representing America, because dude is nasty with it, and they made sure that you understood that instantly. And with everything I'm saying, just imagine the kills that was with these trick shots that he was hitting, because they were fantastic. It's why I want to watch it again instantly, is because, like, man, some of the technique, and I would love to know how this was shot, how they were making sure that this looked the way it is, because I mean, I've held the chainsaw before, and it's definitely way bigger and heavier than I could be swinging things around. But the way how they made things look, and it looked very coordinated and very like tactical in this sense, it was damn cool. So yeah, again, to your point, I do like that this older generation of women, which you know, typically are just the damsel in distress and, oh, we survived and we lived to see another day, are now like, but actually, I'm not running no more. So what's good? And I gotta say, the Sally and Leatherface showdown was pretty sick. And I don't want to even give that away. I just want to say that beyond that, I also love that the other important thing here was there also is a passing of the torch as well. And not in the sense of like, oh, you're becoming a new Sally. I think it's the mentality like, hey, nah, us women, like, we're standing up to these things. We're not running no more. That's why there's a clear message in here, like, stop running. Stop running, because it's always going to hunt you. Stand tall. And, well, that's what happened. All right, so getting back into things really quickly, as much as the Leatherface reveal was dope, I thought the first time we saw the chainsaw was really dope, and the startup gave me chills. I mean, the hairs on my arms stood right up, and I was just like, yeah. One of my favorite moments of the film was about 50 minutes in, and it was the funniest thing I've ever seen in a horror film in my entire life. Bubba that's a sick dude. Yeah. I really want to spoil it, but like, and I know we say we talking spoilers, but I want you to watch this scene and be like, I know exactly what he's talking about. But again, it's 50 minutes in, and it is the funniest thing ever. And look, as I keep saying, Bubba is a conservative. He's in Texas. You don't come in a man's house and think you're just going to just be wandering around and you're not going to get got. And
doesn't matter if you're a man, woman, you're getting smacked out.
Everybody, equal opportunity. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Unbiased killing. But like I said, he fought the good battle. Listen, I'm gonna repeat this one more time. I don't know who the bad guys is, but I'm starting to think it ain't Bubba, as we are led to think, because again, he fought the social media influencers. I forgot the name this one. He fought cancel culture.
Right.
They were, we're going to cancel you. Oh, really? Oh.
This is what I think about your cancellations, bro.
And gentrification all in one night. I mean, if Bubba's not on the ballot next year for Texas, I don't know what. But the dude got a good campaign going right now.
Vote for him. That scene, though, we did get a little taste of it in the trailer. That the I'm gonna just call it the bus massacre scene was excellent. I didn't think that it was going to be that long just from the trailer, but I don't want to say they dragged it out because it wasn't any longer than it needed to be, but it was like this 5-minute chock full of which is exactly what the fans want sitting here on the couch. I could not help but think to myself, this would look beautiful on a big screen.
Oh yeah,
beautiful in the theater. But alas, hey, I'm happy with it at home too.
And I do one up. I thought they were going to one-shot this. And I was like, if they do this, this may go down as the best sequence in a horror film ever. If they had him on that bus. And I mean, in a sense of like, if you've seen films like what Daredevil did it in the hallway and Atomic Blonde did it in the staircase. That one shot where the camera is continuously running and you got these cinematic moments and movements happening. If they would have had him going through slashing and stuff, which I understand why they couldn't have did it because they had to take away to kind of show you where other characters were going.
Right.
It literally would have been the best sequence in a horror film to date, easily, without a doubt. But it still was very damn good. I love the set location. I love the low light, as I said. The bus scene was super dope. And I gotta say, Bubba, he has a little bit of sense of humor. He got stuck by a chainsaw corkscrew.
Yeah, that was good. That was good.
And I think he kind of was like,
he was like, this is kind of meta. All right, I can rock with this for a second. That was pretty funny. That was cute that they threw that in there. It's a world that understands the situation that it's in.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, just really quick, I just want to talk about the ending here. Now, the ending, to me, if I had to like put up still pictures and say what the ending was, this was a little bit of like Sarah Connor, Terminator, and Mortal Kombat 11, and this is not like the ending, but like damn sure close to the ending. Like this is it. You got this
very fatality.
Yes, yes, and well, at least we thought, shall I say? But it was really dope. And when already know if I'm talking about Sarah Connor, you talking about with the pump shotgun and walking up towards him, and well, yeah, I mean that works for Sarah Connor. If you are Sarah Connor, but if you're not, then you may have some issues coming in hand. So that's kind of what's happening. But the ending was a ending. It was wow. And I got to tell you, should I say it? Should I actually say it?
No.
The ending was the ending. That's all I gotta say. The ending
after the credits, folks, because I left and Najir was like, "Yo, come back." But it was important. It was definitely the right decision. Stay until after the credits.
Yes. So they end of the credit scene, after credit scene, a little stinger for you. And then again, like I said in the beginning, I am now optimistic of what they want to do going forward because there's some more story to be told here. And then hopefully you watched it by watching this review by now, but like you connect the dots, you should already know you can't have a story unless you got the guy. So you gotta stay tuned and kind of see how that plays out, and I think it should be good. Now, is there anything else we haven't covered?
Say it, but we may have a bit of a Michael Myers situation going down right now. If he's not going down, neither is the franchise.
This is facts. Anything else we should or have we not covered that we should?
I don't know about things that we have covered, but I'm going to be monitoring the internet for the compilation of Leatherface trick shots from this film. I need somebody to edit that like immediately.
Yeah. I know what I need before we leave. I need your rating, and then we'll sign off on that one. What is your rating?
Like out of 5? Well, I am easily impressed. I'm going to give this one out of 5 stars. I'm going to give it a 4 for enjoyment. For technicality purposes, I'm going to give it a 3. Just because I said earlier in our review, it kind of reads like a video game. And kind of bleeding into that, you know, Michael Myers situation. Is this guy even supernatural? He took a bunch of hits this time, which usually he doesn't. And half of the time I'm like, yo, that's not good enough. The rest of the times I'm like, that should have done something. A little bit of technicality errors. Sometimes I felt in this film that there was things that were left out. The ending where our final girl gets away, I'm a little bit confused as to why that wasn't an option like an hour and a half ago, but and that would not be nearly as fun. So a little bit of plot holes story wise, technicality wise, but in terms of my enjoyment of the franchise, I'm giving it a 4, maybe even a 4.5. I was smiling the whole time. I was so pumped. I even like clapped a couple times, a couple fuck yes, you know. But I can be honest here. I love this franchise. It's a franchise that has so much potential, and it's really the fans behind the franchise that fuel it. Besides the original, none of them are masterpieces, and there's even issues with the original. I know a handful. Actually, I know 2 handfuls of horror fans that actually prefer 2003 to the original 1974. And I really just think it's a preference thing, whichever one you have more fun with. And this movie was really, really freaking fun.
Yeah, definitely a good pickup by Netflix. This definitely fits their identity. Going back to the director, David Blue Garcia, I thought he did a fantastic job. Again, he's fairly new in the directing, at least by taking a quick look at his IMDb. And again, I wasn't familiar with it, so that's why I went and looked him up. This was definitely a knockout the park for him on that note. For everything you said, I totally agree. I had a lot of fun. I cheered. I definitely OMG'd. I jaw dropped. I mean, this thing is freaking gory. Blood splatter everywhere, bones cracking, joint manipulation. There's a lot that goes on here, and I gotta tell you, look, don't be going down Texas with your little futuristic development ideas, knowing that good old Bubba's is down there chilling, waiting for you to serve you up an L. So
we're in the 9th installment. Learn your lesson. Learn your lesson.
But it was fun. And my only knack was like, I didn't think acting was anything to look an eye out for. I mean, it was just kind of by the wayside. I didn't really buy into any characters. In terms of character development, I really didn't buy into that as well too. Yeah. The only bit of character building there was, as I said, was really the passing of the torch between Sally and now the younger, I can't think of her name, but the younger girl, in sense of like, we understand that she's going to carry the same characteristics of what we know for West Side to be. But everybody else, or shall I say, for anybody else who may even still be alive, who knows? There was nothing with these characters. Very one-dimensional, and they were here one minute and they were gone the next, and that's fine, because you know sometimes it needs to be that way. And that's again what makes it fun. That what makes it fun. I enjoyed this, and I can't wait to watch it again. It's an hour and a half. It's an easy, digestible film. It's a popcorn flick. It is a Friday night must do. This is like a, hey, I heard everybody talking about on the internet, I should go watch. Yes, you should go watch. If you are a horror fan, you should watch it. If you're a fan of Texas Chain Saw Massacre, you should watch it. There's a lot of reasons why you should watch it.
If you're from Texas and your town is being gentrified, you should watch it.
If you are one of these new real estate agents and you're thinking like, I got this great idea, don't watch it. Well, maybe, yeah, so you can learn something. But nah, seriously, as fun as this movie was, as funny as this movie was, as entertaining as this movie was, it's still a horror film. You will tense up in some parts because Bubba don't fuck around. That's on everything. So don't come in, mess with his mom, his house, or any of that. And he's on the move now, so you better be aware of his next location. So there's that. But again, you can check it out on Netflix. It is available February 18th, and as the release of this review recap, it's available now. So check it out. Jump in the comments. Let us know all of your thoughts about this film. Let us know the things you liked about the most. Let me know about my favorite moment of this film, the 50-minute mark. About
favorite
that,
trick
which
shot.
Crazy. Yeah, favorite trick shot. Let us know all of it. And we'll be back for more reviews and content very soon. Thanks for watching, folks.